Welcome back to the Operation Freedom YouTube channel. What we do here is shine the light of truth on the deep state. They hate that. We do it figuratively with our presentations. We do it literally with our sponsor's product, PatriotLegacy.com. PatriotLegacy.com, featured product of theirs, the Patriot Beacon. 6 overall lighting functions. In addition, solar powered, don't need batteries. You can charge your other devices like your phone from it. In addition, you got a compass, you got a window breaking hammer, and you got a seatbelt cutter. Plus, if those deep state dweebs get just a little bit too close to you, blast them with this. They're gone. Go to patrioticlegacy.com, patrioticlegacy.com. Get yourself, your kids, your grandkids, your car. Can carry it with you anytime. patrioticlegacy.com, the Patriot Beacon. There's another freedom fighter and his family, and his very brave attorney, Sidney Powell, who are fighting the deep state and have been for years. His name? General Michael Flynn. General Flynn I have highlighted in the past on a number of these presentations, on my radio show, on my YouTube channel, on the subscription platform. Many people have attacked me for my support of General Flynn. Well, those that have attacked me, I believe, are either part of the globalist syndicate or they are ignorant of the truth. And they are incapable of researching. And it doesn't take much time to research the truth and the facts of General Flynn. General Flynn was set up by the deep state. They needed to take him out. Why? In a nutshell, General Flynn knew where all the bodies were buried of the deep state. And they could not have someone of his character and his knowledge base next to Donald Trump, which is why he was the first person they attacked. It didn't take long. President Trump was inaugurated, I believe, on January 20th, January 21st, 2017. Comey, along with McCabe, sent 2 agents, Strzok and Pienka, on January 24th, 2017, to the White House to entrap General Flynn. When you read through all the documents, it's evident that General Flynn told the truth to them. He never lied. When Pienka and Strzok went back, which is protocol, they filled out what was called the 302 form. 302 forms are used to document what occurred in a, quote, interview, in this case with General Flynn, interrogation, even though they didn't tell him it was. He was set up. Comey's even said that on his own. It was an ambush. Comey's own words. One of the few times that SOB ever told the truth. They filled out their 302 form. Well, yeah, they filled it out, but guess what? To this day, it's still missing. What? Oh, yeah. Well, there's some edited versions. Oh, yeah. Edited versions. Edited by people that weren't even in the room. To make it look like General Flynn lied. Which is the whole basis for their charge against him of lying to the FBI. When the 2 guys who interviewed him, Strzok and Pienka, have stated that, well, we thought he was forthright. But where's that 302 form? They say it's missing. The prosecutors, this Van Grack character who's currently running the show after Curtis took a powder, and some of these other people in the Department of Justice took a powder. This Van Grack, you still can't find it. Can't find it. Give me a break. They haven't produced it because they knew it would exonerate General Flynn. But there's other evidence that shows that General Flynn never lied. So then the question has always been, and you need to watch the interviews I did with General Flynn's brother, Joe Flynn. It's on the YouTube channel. It was, a subscription platform interview that we released to the public. It's on our platform here at Operation Freedom. And also the interviews I did with Barbara Flynn Redgate, General Flynn's sister. They dissect this entire issue, put it all on the line. Because it's not just General Flynn who has been essentially a political prisoner. Frankly, his entire family has. And frankly, so is every American. You see, this case against General Flynn is not just against him. Not just against his family. It's against every American. If they can do this to him, they can do it to you and every American. The one thing the deep state did not count on, well, a couple of things they didn't count on with General Flynn. One, that he would fight back. You see, in order to get him to sign the plea deal that he lied, they set him up with some attorneys on the inside from a firm by the name of Covington. Now, if that firm sounds familiar, that'd be former Attorney General under Barack Obama. He's a partner in that firm. When you look through all these documents, when you look through General Flynn's personal statement that he authored and presented to the court in January of 2020, you come to the realization very quickly that his attorneys who were supposed to be representing him, in fact, set him up. That they were part of the problem. The deep state thought they had him set up on the inside and on the outside. The FBI losing documents, the FBI changing documents, and on the inside, the people that were supposed to represent him essentially were throwing him under the bus. They didn't count on the fortitude and the courage and the persistence of General Flynn or his wife Lori or their family. And then they surely didn't count on Sidney Powell coming into the picture. You see, the single greatest move that I believe saved General Flynn was his firing those attorneys on the inside that were selling him out from Covington and bringing in the enforcer, Sidney Powell. The deep state didn't count on that. And because of that, they've been defeated. Well, Dave, General Flynn, he hasn't been sentenced yet. And, they're going to, they still could sentence him. I doubt that very seriously. Because with time and with incredible efforts on behalf of General Flynn and his family and Sidney Powell and her legal team, they have held the deep state puppets' feet to the fire. And they are not only melting, but they have melted. The Department of Justice and the judge overseeing this case, Emmett Sullivan, have no choice. Because of the perseverance of General Flynn, his family, and Sidney Powell, the government has finally had to cough up what's called Brady material. That's evidence that shows that the accused is in fact innocent. The government's been hiding that. On Friday, April 24th, Sidney Powell and General Flynn entered a supplement to Mr. Flynn's motion to dismiss for egregious government misconduct. They previously had entered a motion in January of 2020. This is a supplement. And here's what it says, because the bought-off lamestream fake media is not going to touch this. On January 29, 2020, Michael T. Flynn, General Flynn, submitted his motion to dismiss for egregious government misconduct and in the interest of justice. Mr. Flynn now files this brief supplement to his motion to dismiss for government misconduct. This afternoon, April 24, 2020, the government produced to Mr. Flynn stunning Brady evidence that proves Mr. Flynn's allegations of having been deliberately set up and framed by corrupt agents at the top of the FBI. It also defeats any arguments that the interview of Mr. Flynn on January 24, 2017 was material to any investigation. That's right, because that material, folks, shows that it was a setup. That's right. The document goes on. The government has deliberately suppressed this evidence from the inception of this prosecution, knowing there was no crime by Mr. Flynn. In addition, Mr. Flynn's counsel has found further, this is Sidney Powell, further evidence of misconduct by Mr. Van Grack specifically. That would be the prosecutor de jure. Not only did Van Grack make baseless threats to indict General Flynn's son, Michael G. Flynn, Van Grack made a side deal not to prosecute General Flynn's son as a material term of the plea agreement, but he required that it be kept secret between himself, Van Grack, and Mr. General Flynn's previous attorneys, Covington attorneys, expressly to avoid the requirement of previous case law. Oh. Now, can you say prosecutorial misconduct? I would actually call that malpractice. I mean, who am I? But I would think this would lead to not only immediate dismissal from the Department of Justice, I would think that this would lead to Van Grack's law degree to be, well, revoked. And frankly, I would think that there would be some type of criminal charges that could be filed against Van Grack and, frankly, that entire team. That's Dave Janda speaking. I'm not an attorney. I didn't even sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but I can tell you, knowing many attorneys who are very dear friends of mine, I believe that's what they would say. In fact, they have said it. The document goes on. Since August 2016, at the latest, partisan FBI and Department of Justice leaders conspired to destroy General Flynn. These documents show in their own handwriting and emails that they intended either to create an offense they could prosecute or at least get him fired. Then came the incredible malfeasance of Mr. Van Grack's and the special counsel's office, that would be Robert Mueller's, prosecution despite their knowledge there was no crime by General Flynn. All this new evidence, and the government has advised there is more to come, proves that the crimes were committed by the FBI officials and then the prosecutors as opposed to General Flynn. The government's misconduct in this case is beyond shocking and reprehensible. It mandates dismissal. Goes on. This case is a shameful blight on the American justice system. Quote, the first duties of the officers of the law are to prevent, not to punish crime. It is not their duty to incite to and create crime for the sole purpose of prosecuting and punishing it. It is unconscionable, contrary to public policy, and to the established law of the land, to punish a man for the commission of an offense of the like of which he had never been guilty, either in thought or in deed, and evidently never would have been guilty of it if the officers of the law had not inspired, incited, persuaded, and lured him to attempt to commit it. End quote. You see, they threatened General Flynn. And they lied to General Flynn, his former counsel, and the prosecutors. That if he didn't cop to this plea of lying to the FBI, which he didn't do, well, they would not only bankrupt him, they would not only bankrupt his family, but they would make up charges against his son. That's what our country has become. And you're asking yourself right now, wait a minute, this sounds like something from a third world dictatorship. Yeah. Third world dictatorships are arms of the deep state, the globalist syndicate. And that's exactly what our country had become. And then this hit from the Daily Caller. Exclusive. Source says FBI Director Christopher Wray pushed to withhold exculpatory evidence in the Mike Flynn case. This from the Daily Caller. Federal Bureau of Investigations Director Christopher Wray fought to prevent exculpatory evidence from surfacing in the case of President Donald Trump's former National Security Advisor, General Michael Flynn. A source with direct knowledge of the situation tells the Daily Caller. New court documents were filed in Flynn's case on Friday, April 24th, containing the aforementioned exculpatory evidence, commonly referred to as Brady material. General Flynn's attorney, Sidney Powell, announced the new filing. She has repeatedly accused the FBI and Justice Department of hiding evidence in the case. Sidney Powell stated, quote, "This afternoon, the government produced to Mr. Flynn stunning Brady evidence that proves Mr. Flynn's allegations of having been deliberately set up and framed by corrupt agents at the top of the FBI." Sidney continued, quote, "The government has deliberately suppressed this evidence from the inception of this prosecution, knowing there was no crime by Mr. Flynn. Since August 2016, at the latest, partisan FBI and Department of Justice leaders conspired to destroy Mr. Flynn. These documents show in their own handwriting in emails that they intended either to create an offense they could prosecute, or at least get him fired," end quote. Article goes on. Powell claimed that more exculpatory evidence in the case will surface in the near future. An FBI official told the Federalist that FBI General Counsel Dana Bente was behind the effort to block the release of the Brady material, yet Daily Caller source explained Bente was acting in coordination with Wray. The Justice Department Code clearly dictates that, quote, "government disclosure of material, exculpatory and impeachment evidence is part of the constitutional guarantee to a fair trial," end quote. And the FBI does not reserve the right to withhold exculpatory evidence. After this article came out, the Department of Justice came out and said, no, Wray didn't hold anything back. Really? He didn't? Okay. Well, who did then? Wray's the head of the FBI. What did Harry Truman state? The buck stops here? Buddy, you're the head of the FBI. Why is this material finally coming to light? This exculpatory evidence regarding General Flynn on April 24th, 2020. Over 3 years from when he was initially interviewed by the FBI. You see, folks, the deep state wants you to think that they're invincible. They cannot be beat. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. The deep state is in the process of being defeated. Why? I'll give you 2 reasons. Representative Karen Whitsett, who stood up to the deep state, and General Michael Flynn, and General Flynn's family, and his fantastic attorney, Sidney Powell. Whether it's Representative Karen Whitsett, or General Flynn, or his family, or Sidney Powell, They're not fighting for themselves. They are fighting for every American and the future of our country. You have a choice. You can sit on the couch and you can keep watching the tube and the propaganda that's being shoveled at you by the bought-off lamestream fake media that's a tentacle of the deep state. Or you can network this information that I just provided to you to anyone and everyone you know. Because the more people that are educated with the facts, and the facts that the deep state is being defeated, the sooner we get our country back in more ways than one. I thank you for your time today. I hope you'll become part of our Freedom platform. Become a subscriber. It's 30 cents a day. Biggest bang for the buck in all the internet. Turn the TV off. Close down your cable bill. On average, people pay $4.50 a day for misinformation on the cable. 30 cents a day, you get it all right in your lap through Operation Freedom. I thank you for your time. I thank you for joining the fight. It is a fight that we are in the process of winning against the deep state. And you can thank individuals such as Representative Karen Whitsett, General Michael Flynn, his family, and Sidney Powell for leading us to that promised land of freedom and liberty. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thank you for your time today.